Thanks to the support as a channel member, Ryan Duffy. Well, in the last episode, I presented you with two options for how we could proceed with the transfer window. Spend nothing and play it safe and probably not get promoted, or spend a load of money and probably get promoted. I went in between, spent a little bit of money, and now we can't win a game. Probably should have committed one way or the other. Hello and welcome to part 24 of Saving Man City. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, we have a championship game against Luton, and we're away against Chelsea in the 5th round of the FA Cup, which means that cup run that we were looking for is probably very close to coming to an end. And I think that's why we've suddenly become rubbish. As you can see, we've only won one game in 6 in the championship, 3 games without a win. We've lost 4 of our last 6. Unbelievably, we are still hanging on to that last spot in the playoffs, but the gap between us and the automatic promotion spots is now too big for us to catch. So if we are going to make it to the Premier League this year, it's going to be via the playoffs. And thankfully, it looks like there's only 4 good teams in the division and then another 5 or 6 that we're a part of. We're part of the... like I mentioned, I did spend a little bit of money and probably should have really gone for it or not spent any at all. We have brought James McAtee back to the club, albeit only on loan. We've spent £1 million to loan him until the end of the season. He's the 8th player we've got on loan at the club, and we can only play 5 in one go. He is transfer listed at his own request at Leeds, so if we go up, he's definitely someone we could be looking to bring back permanently, but he is not close to match fit. He's not played... he's not started a game, or he started 2 games for Leeds all season. Did play a full season last season for Blackburn in the Championship, where he was excellent, 17 goal contributions in the Championship, despite averaging only a 6.92. Clearly, when he plays well, he plays very well, but he is good enough for this level. We just need to get him up to speed, match fitness-wise, which he is not yet. We also continued to raid that Blackburn team of last year, bringing in 2 more players of the Blackburn team that got promoted to the Premier League last year. I think they got promoted. Or did they get... Yeah, they got promoted to the Premier League last year. So Dominic Hyam solves the centre-back issue that I mentioned that I had. I wanted a centre-back partner for Anothe, a right-sided centre-back. Dominic Hyam is that man. He has a promotion with Blackburn last season, although he didn't play a single game for them last year. Was he injured or... No, they just didn't fancy him. Weirdly, because he played 31 games for them in the Premier League the year before, and the year before that was almost ever present for their previous championship promotion. So he knows how to get promoted from this division, has experience of the division above, but similar to McAtee, hasn't played in like a year and a half. So we've got to get him up to speed. And then Callum Britton, also of Blackburn's promotion team from last year. He's been promoted with Blackburn twice. Once where he played most of the games, played a little bit in the Premier League, barely played when they got promoted last year, and didn't play at all this year when they were back. Do you spot a theme with all of these players? They were all quite good a few years ago, but haven't played, and they need time to get up to speed, and that isn't something we really have. They were bargains, though. Hyam and Britton we managed to get for less than £200,000 up front combined. So I think it wasn't disastrous what we've done there in January, but McAtee in particular was a luxury. We've put our wage spend £45,000 over where we set ourselves a budget. We said we weren't going to go above 300,000. We've added another almost 50,000 to that, and it hasn't led to us storming to automatic promotion like I hoped it might. I'm hoping it's all just distraction because of the Chelsea game being on the horizon, but that doesn't explain the 2 matches we lost before we played Tranmere in the previous round. It's a pickle that we need to unpickle, and we'll try and unpickle it against Luton. But first, I just want to take a moment to thank today's episode sponsor, True Classic. True Classic is the premium brand for men's clothing, including t-shirts, loungewear, athletic wear, shirts, jeans, outerwear, and underwear. Who knew there were so many different categories of clothes? They specialise in ultra-premium fabrics and the right fits that complement your best assets, which basically means the t-shirts are really soft and they fit right even on fully figured gentlemen. Not that I'd know anything about that, of course. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm fed up with having to put up with t-shirts designed to look good on those little rascals that wear a medium, but when they're sized up to full-grown adult sizes, they always end up so short that you can't lift your arms up without your belly falling out the bottom. And then when you go for a bigger size to stop that from happening, it ends up really big and baggy on your arms and shoulders. I'm old enough to have lived through all that in the 90s, and it was bad enough then. The last thing I want to do is go around wearing big, baggy, loose, unflattering t-shirts. So when True Classic offered to send me a selection of t-shirts designed to fit a body like mine, I jumped at the chance, and you may have noticed that I've grown quite attached to this look and now wear their shirts all the time. They're designed to fit a little tighter around the arms and the chest and the shoulders, and then a little looser and longer on the belly, which is ideal for tricking your loved ones into thinking you've been going to the gym instead of sitting around playing computer games. The material is also super soft, which I know adverts like this will always say, but seriously, when I first pulled one out of the bag, I insisted on rubbing it on Anna's face so she could feel just how soft it was. And crucially important for me as an autistic person with a whole load of sensory issues, they don't have any irritating tags or labels. True Classic tees are available in loads of different colours and have no logos, so they can be paired up with everything you've already got in your wardrobe. These t-shirts look great, they're super comfortable, and they've made me feel so good that I went and got a fancy young person's haircut and beard trim just so my face didn't get left behind by my hunky new body. And if that wasn't enough to get you to click the link down in the description and get yourself some fancy new True Classic clothes, if you use promo code LOLLUJO25 at checkout, you'll get 25% off your order. That's 25% off at trueclassic.com/LOLLUJO when you use discount code LOLLUJO25. Go do it now. So this is the team for the game against Luton. We're going with Trafford in goal, a back four of Di Gasperi, Mbete, Hyam and Edwards, Shea Charles at the base of the midfield with Taylor and McAtee ahead of him, Jones on the left, Musaba on the right, Delap up front. If you'd have offered me at this, a year ago, if you'd have offered me a front four of McAtee, Ricky J. Jones, Delap and the Musaba we saw play on his debut for us, that is four players who are all potential match winners, all superb in this match engine. And if we can get them all clicking, should be enough to get us through the playoffs and into the Premier League. But they've all kind of gone off the boil. Well, that's not fair on McAtee. The other three have all kind of gone off the boil at the same time. And McAtee is just struggling to get match fit, having not played any football for a long time. Hopefully today's the day. He is match fit again. And I tell you what, it was a beauty of a cross. But Ricky J. Jones demonstrating what I was saying about how they've all gone off the boil. A month ago, he scores there and he doesn't score. It was an open goal. And absolutely on a plate from McAtee. And hopefully he'll do a little bit more of that and become an assist machine for us and just create all of the chances, burst out of midfield, scoring goals as well. It's what we're looking for from him. I think one of the reasons why the front three are not firing as much as they were could be because of us messing around with what's going on behind them. I'm reluctant to use Micah Hamilton. We have gone past the date where he had his grumpy on, and he's now, because he's reviewing his options, he's refusing to discuss a new contract until the summer. He's out of contract in the summer. I don't really want to use a player who can just walk. We could get promoted to the Premier League and then he could just walk out and sign for a rival. But then at the same time, if he's the difference between us getting promoted to the Premier League or not, who cares, really? That's good work from McAtee. That wasn't an interception of a player who looks like he's struggling for match fitness. Once again, feeds Ricky J. Jones with a good chance, and Jones doesn't have the finish. But McAtee is the best player on the pitch at the moment. So I'm hoping he is back, not just back in a Manchester City shirt, but back match fit and playing to his best. Because if he is, he'll get this front three scoring goals because he is a creative force. And he's the only player on the pitch who's got a green match rating at the moment, so that's got to be a good thing. Corner comes in for Luton, and we scramble it off the line. It's the first highlight they've had in the first half, and they very nearly scored from it. It would have been very against the run of play and very indicative of how our current run of form has been going. It is really frustrating at the moment trying to get a tune out of this Manchester City team, which I keep saying, I think is because they're distracted by Chelsea being on the horizon. But we need to get back into that mindset of being Manchester City. We shouldn't be intimidated by a big Premier League team, because if we do get promoted, which we had an opportunity to, it was right there in the last episode, we could see the opportunity. But if we do get promoted to the Premier League, which is looking increasingly unlikely, but we're going to be playing teams like that all the time. We can't be intimidated by them. If these boys want to be part of a Premier League squad for Manchester City, which 5 years ago, before all this happened, would have been the dream of pretty much every single one of them. I mean, I guess there's more and more players now who weren't part of that team that got demoted all the way down, but there's still a core of players who signed for Manchester City as youngsters when they were expecting to be competing for a place in a team that were playing in the Champions League and winning the Premier League every year. And they've got an opportunity to be back there, back in the Premier League as Manchester City, first team players, and they're bottling it. And that's not what I would expect from them. But we're 1-0 down again against a team we should be beating. It's not that we're that much better than Luton, I don't think, but we've controlled the game. We've been the better team in the match. Masaba now drills it across and Delap just scuffs it. I mean, was it last episode or the one before where Delap was doing Messi-style touches and looked unbeatable? Well, now he can't even score a tap-in and he's done a 6.1. And he's being subbed for just not being good enough. We're going with Will Dixon as our striker in the hope that it'll be a better option. We're changing our fullback. I mean, we're doing 5 subs. There's so many tired players on the pitch. We're doing 5 changes. We're going to do that as well. And we'll bring on Fiorini. In fact, we're not going to bring on Knight. We're going to go to a diamond. We're not just going to change. We're going to do a massive change. And we're going to do this. Have we got a diamond trained? We haven't. That's annoying. Right, so we're going to put him there. Actually, no, we'll put him into midfield. McAtee is going to go up front with Dixon. Fiorini will go in there. He's going to be box-to-box midfielder. I mean, it's something different. It might look like I'm making it up as I go along, as I am, but it is something a little bit different to what we've been doing previously, so maybe it's just what we need. We'll have him in there doing that, and he can be an advanced forward. I mean, it's completely different. 5 substitutions and a tactic we've not used in forever. We've got to do something. We've got to roll the dice somewhere. We've got to get back into this game. We're going to demand more as well. Inexplicably, we're still 3 points clear of Watford, who just don't seem to have any interest in catching us, which is nice, I guess. And if we can get ourselves back into good form, at least then we'll be the form team for the playoffs. We've got no chance of automatic promotion now. But at this rate, what do you mean Kane Taylor's in an unfamiliar position? Where have I put him? Oh, hang on. Why is he there? That's how that was supposed to be. Oh, I've ballsed that up, haven't I? Oh, come on then. Can we just have a football goal, please? McAtee and Delap up front would be glorious, by the way. Maybe we try that. How many more games do we have to lose before we just try this diamond from the start? Or try back 3? We've got so many defenders now again. We're back where we were before with loads of defenders. We can't even get the ball now. We started this game so well. We dominated them. We've changed the tactic and can't even get the ball. And that's another really poor defeat. That's, what is that, 5 defeats in our last 7 league games? It's not good enough. We start too slowly. Sean, it's the opposite of that, my friend. It is the opposite. We started really well and then just burnt out. Now we've got to go and take our medicine against Chelsea. So we're just shuffling things around, shaking things up, trying something different against Chelsea. I say trying something different. It's the same system, but very different players. Wilson Esbrand comes in at left back. Britton comes in at right back. John Joe Shelby's back in at the base of the midfield with Taylor and McAtee ahead of him. And then we're going with a completely different front 3 of Lambert, Betrancourt and Ibrahim. Liam Delap dropping down to the bench. We're actually allowed to play more loanees in the FA Cup. We've got all 8 of them in the matchday squad, which is, I mean, wouldn't it be nice if we could do that in the league, which we can't. But yeah, let's get the front three, who none of them are match fit because they haven't played for a while. Because I thought Delap was the answer, and I love Ricky J. Jones. Maybe I need to take off my Jones blinkers and my Delap blinkers and accept that these three are proper, like, wonder kids. They're not necessarily wonder kid status, but these are players from top clubs who are younger than Delap and Jones, are on the way up and will probably reach higher heights than those two. But then Delap and Jones are realistic permanent signings, whereas these three probably aren't. So shouldn't we be working with the ones... Oh, God, I forgot Erling Haaland signed for Chelsea. That's who he went to at the start of the save. And he's already scored against us. I assume it's being decided. This must be a tough watch for Manchester City fans, seeing Erling Haaland lining up against them. But yeah, he's quite good, this Haaland guy. Have they got any more of our rejects? Now, obviously, Raheem Sterling went there in real life. But yeah, it's Sterling and Haaland as the former Manchester City players in this team. And we are struggling to contain Haaland at the moment. My goodness me. Mbete might have trained with him for like 20 minutes as part of him coming in and immediately leaving again at the start of the save. He never actually played a game for Manchester City in this universe, but he did sign and then get sold as part of everything that went down, as part of us going down. It's kind of exactly what Chelsea need, an actual striker. And it doesn't look like they've done much in the way of transfers in the last 4 or 5 years. So while we've been working our way up the leagues, they're pretty much with their original starting team, which I guess they spent £600 million in the previous transfer window and signed Erling Haaland in the save. So what else did they really need to do, I imagine? But is there anyone in there? Oh, there's a couple, maybe a couple of signings. Dalot in particular is one that I can see there now. Right, we're doing quite well at the moment to keep Haaland at bay, but the game has a long way to go. Ibrahim now on the right-hand side gives it to Taylor, who gives it to Britton, and now it's back with Ibrahim again, who's running at the Chelsea defence. He slides it across to James McAtee! It's his first goal since returning to Manchester City. Oh, he is our great hope for the rest of the season. And he has scored a goal for Manchester City away against Chelsea. Wonderful stuff. I mean, that's the kind of moment that he would have dreamt of when he first signed for City as a kid, and then imagined that he'd lost the opportunity to ever be a part of when we were down in the non-league and he was playing for us week in and week out. And now here we are in the Championship on the cusp of a Premier League return. James McAtee is back at the club, still young enough to go on and have an incredible Manchester City career if we can bring him back permanently in the summer, which would hopefully be able to do. Oh, it's romance, boys and girls. Football romance. We're 1-0 up away against Chelsea, and McAtee's better than Haaland. And here is your proof. It's right here in front of you. Mbete to Wilson Esbrand. Plays it forward, looking for McAtee again, who, I mean, forget not being match fit. He looks very energetic today. And Kane Taylor right there with him in midfield, coming in with a crunching tackle. Hyam heading clear, but not very far. And now Sterling is going to try and drag Chelsea back into this game. I imagine he'd be quite keen to pick up a win here. McAtee looking for the interception. It looked like he pulled up there, but I don't think he did. I think it was just me being terrified. Oh, they've got Rodrigo. Didn't notice him before. But he is injured, so that's good. Hopefully a few more of them will pick up injuries as well. If we could find a way to beat Chelsea, that's just the kind of thing that could reignite our season, but at the same time, could further distract us from the league with FA Cup stuff, which when I said I wanted a cup run, I didn't mean at the expense of doing well in the league. And the players seem to have misunderstood it. Haaland now with a header that goes over, and we remain a goal to the good, completely against the run of play, looking at the match stats. But we are ahead away against Chelsea. Now Britton has picked up an injury. We've got 30 seconds until half-time, so we'll make the change then. I don't know if him and Rodrigo collided, but they're opposite numbers on this right-hand side of ours, their left, and they're both injured. And now Haaland has the ball in the back of the net again, and we're appealing for offside again. We obviously don't have VAR. We've not been used to it down in the Football League. but that one looked like it was going to be given, and it was. And how much of that is because we delayed taking Britain off until half-time, Rodrigo getting away from him, giving him the slip, and ultimately starting that move off and handing momentum back to Chelsea. Tom Edwards is going to come on at half-time, just like-for-like swap at right-back. We've got lots of right-backs now, haven't we? Remember when we didn't have any? We've got all the right-backs these days. Let's do the second half, and maybe we can have another wonderful moment from one of these boys. Wouldn't that be nice? I enjoyed James McAtee's goal. I would like more of the same, please. Right, Ibrahim tracking back, can't keep up with Cucurella, and there's Haaland, and once again his header goes over. It's a couple of times he's been a little wayward with his finishing so far in this match. I mean, he has had the ball in the back of the net twice, both of them very tight offside decisions, and there's been a couple of other chances where on another day you would expect him to score. He could have 4 or 5 against us today quite easily if things had just gone ever so slightly the other way. It looks like they've taken Rodrigo off at half-time as well, and goodness me, I mean, he just kicks the football really hard, doesn't he? He's a problem. Can we bring him back? How much will it cost to bring him back to Manchester City? Is that the new end goal of the save? Re-sign Erling Haaland. put City back where they're supposed to be. Re-sign Erling Haaland without going into debt or getting a rich owner to do it. I mean, that's probably impossible. And Bete to Shelvey. I mean, John Joe Shelvey we've not noticed him today, which I think if there was any question mark about whether or not we keep him next year, if we're in the Premier League, and that's a big if at this point, but if we do get promoted, I think this has given us enough information to know that obviously we have to move on beyond John Joe Shelvey and probably beyond these Blackburn rejects as well. I mean, Shelvey has been in the Premier League for a long time, but his last 2 seasons with Forest didn't play a game. The 2 lads in from Blackburn haven't played games. Even the likes of Delap and McAtee are on loan from Premier League clubs. They're on loan from Premier League clubs where they didn't get games. It's perhaps for the best that we're probably not going to get promoted this year because we're not ready. But then at the same time, we've got to think beyond footballing stuff. Money-wise, we could really do with a promotion. We could really do with Premier League money. And in the long run, finance-wise, it would be better to go up, grab a year's worth of money, come back down again, enjoy parachute payments for a bit, and then go back up much stronger. That might be the way to do it. Right. We're going to play Delap on the left wing here because neither Ibrahim or Betancourt can play out there. Oh, even my dog is frustrated at the situation we found ourselves in. I assume his angry barking came through on the microphone. We just had to pause for a second there while the window cleaner was in next door's garden, and Dave just didn't like it at all. Right, let's just make a nice couple of changes. I mean, we could take everybody off here. At least now we can get Delap up front. I'm not sure how the rest of this season turns out. For the first time in the save, I'm really not very confident about where we're going to be going in the next 5 or 6 matches. And I haven't even looked at the finances for a little while. I've taken my eye off the ball there completely and decided to focus in on getting promoted. Dare I even look at the finances? They're not too bad currently. I don't think we're in any imminent danger there. Don't know who Jacob Wright is. Don't care. Yuck. Right. Just the league to focus on now. We are still in a playoff position. We're not in a playoff position anymore. Watford have moved above us, but we have a game in hand. So we're going to come back somewhere in here, I guess. And hopefully we'll have won some games by then. What a horrible run of form that's been. Ugh. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. Thank you very much for watching.